Hello and welcome to the Healthy Living Doesn't Have to Suck podcast. My name is Melyssa Allen, and I'm a double board certified lifestyle medicine coach who's dedicated to helping people drop the struggle around creating a healthy lifestyle that lasts. Join me for solo episodes and casual conversations with guest experts in the industry to discuss creating mindset and behavior changes that help you say hello to healthy living made easy, enjoyable, and empowering. What's up, y'all? It is your girl Melyssa with a Y here, and I am excited to share that it is Lifestyle Medicine Week 2024. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast, basically since it started last year, then you heard Lifestyle Medicine Week 2023 episode. But this year, I wanted to focus on lifestyle medicine for mental health because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm actually doing a more in-depth presentation about lifestyle medicine and mental health later this month. It will be available online, or you can come in person to the Lake Nona Performance Club. So that's going to be happening Thursday, May 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So what is lifestyle medicine? Maybe if you've been following me for a while, then you know, or you're following along my email sequence that I've got going on this week. And now you're like, oh, I'm starting to get to know about lifestyle medicine. But I wanted to take some time to kind of get into the details around it. And essentially, it's a subspecialty of medicine that focuses on using our lifestyle behaviors on a therapeutic intervention level. So we could think about it as prescribing health-promoting behaviors. And the reason that's important is because right now, there's about 60% of Americans that are living with at least one chronic disease that is related to our lifestyle behaviors, whether that's obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, like all of that kind of stuff. It's related to the habits that we have. So we need to reduce what we call our behavioral risk factors. Those would be things like physical inactivity, being sedentary for too long, chronic stress, not enough sleep, like all of those things we want to shift into more health promoting behaviors. So regular physical activity, healthful nutrition, effective stress management, good old healthy sleep. And there's two more pillars, but I'll get to those in a second. So I love sharing about lifestyle medicine because the way that I actually discovered it was through an internship at a hospital that I was actually in their integrative medicine department. And one of the people that I connected with while I was there, so shout out Nicole, she was in the cancer prevention department. And there was a time that she came back from this conference and she was like, hey, have you ever heard of lifestyle medicine? And at the time, I had not. And I was reaching this point of frustration that it was so separate between mental health care and physical health care. But I was like, they're so interconnected. Like, why are we not marrying the two together, you know? And so it's interesting because then she introduced me to lifestyle medicine and the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, which include regular physical activity, a plant-predominant eating pattern, so not vegetarian, not vegan, just eating more plants, getting your fiber in. And then we have effective stress management, healthy sleep, positive social connections, and avoidance of risky substances. So things like tobacco, vaping, alcohol, all those kinds of things. So I thought it was interesting because it felt like I had finally found my home. Like there was so much of a pull between when I was getting my training in mental health and doing my master's in clinical psychology. It wasn't really talked about how the way that we live affects our mental well-being up until I got into the master's program, which that's a whole other story for itself. But ultimately, they just were never talked about together. They were talked about in the sense of like they can influence each other, but it didn't necessarily tap into how highly interconnected these areas of well-being are. So I was very excited to have finally found a home in lifestyle medicine. And now I have my board certification as a lifestyle medicine professional. It led me to the path of health and wellness coaching. So instead of pursuing a license in mental health counseling, I kind of shifted over and started down the coaching path. And I could not be happier. Like, I get to do what I love and helping people feel healthier and happier, and doing it in a way that is fun and entertaining and engaging, while also holding space through the tough stuff, right? And that's something that over the last week, I definitely struggled with. If y'all listened to the last episode with Dr. Annalise Cunningham, we talked about how I was coming up on the 8-month mark of when we had to put Buddy down. And it really, I think, hit me harder than I expected because, one, it was my first Mother's Day without Buddy. And I don't think, I mean, I would jokingly, like say, yeah, I'm a dog mom. But I don't think I realized how much I actually meant that and felt it, like that Buddy felt like my child. And so not having him around for that Mother's Day was very challenging, on top of the fact that it fell during the same week as like the 8-month mark of not having Buddy in our lives. So you can say I've definitely been on the struggle bus and I've definitely had a rougher time and just felt like very low. I would say on the verge of depressed. Definitely depressive symptoms. I wouldn't consider it full-blown depression, but I was definitely lethargic. I was very, very quick draw on the cry. Like, it didn't take much for the tears to come streaming out of my face during that week. And I'm feeling better. And I do attribute part of that to my choices through my behaviors. And so bringing this full circle to lifestyle medicine, during the weeks that I haven't felt my greatest, I've noticed that I'm not eating as well. I'm moving less and sitting more. I have a hard time managing my stress because I don't want to do things like meditate or journal because I feel like it'll bring up some of those uncomfortable emotions that I will shamelessly admit that I was trying to avoid and not pay attention to. So it all comes, and I was sleeping a lot. Hold on. Wait, I want to stop at that point for a second because I do get healthy sleep, but I was sleeping close to like 11 hours some nights, or in bed for 12 hours at some points. And this is just over the last 2 weeks that I noticed that happening. I wasn't making it to my morning co-working calls. I would feed Jackie, go right back to bed. Sometimes I wouldn't even go to sleep. I would just like have the TV on. So for me, those are all indicators that I am not at my best mentally, emotionally, and it shows physically too. All of that to say, those lifestyle behaviors affect how I think, how I feel, and vice versa. How we think, how we feel affects our behaviors. So the reason lifestyle medicine can be important for mental health is because out of our thoughts, feelings, and our thoughts, feelings, and emotions and behaviors, our behaviors are the only thing that we truly have control over. We can't control what thoughts come up. We can't control what emotions come up. We can choose to engage in some behaviors to address those thoughts and emotions and how we respond to those things showing up, but we can't control them fully. Our behaviors, on the other hand, the choices we make and the actions we take are where our power lies. So with lifestyle medicine, if we choose to engage in these 6 health-promoting habits, it can actually have a pretty significant impact on our mental health and well-being as well. So let me just give a couple examples. We talked about physical activity. So there are some cool studies that show if you engage in 20 minutes of brisk walking, so that's moderate intensity activity, for just about 20 minutes, 3 days a week. So y'all, that's only 1 hour out of your week. Over 6 weeks, it was shown to have similar efficacy as some antidepressant medications in reducing those depressive symptoms. That's pretty fucking cool. Now, obviously, we can't just replace walking, or we can't just replace antidepressants with walking. Like, if it were that easy only. There is a time and place for pharmaceuticals, but it goes to show that there is power in movement. Movement is medicine for our minds and our bodies. Then we have food. Food feeds mood. So nutrition. The more that we could, wait, hold on. How am I trying to say this? It was the higher intake of fiber was shown to be associated with reduced symptoms of depression. Another pretty cool study. I'll have all the citations in my presentation when you choose to show up, right? You'll be there. I'll be there. So fiber is found in whole plant foods. So unprocessed whole foods that are plants. And that's where we get our natural fiber from. And our gut loves fiber. And fiber can actually help our gut feel happier, which will boost our mood. We've got lots of serotonin receptors in the stomach. So yeah, the more fiber that we feed it, the more our mood will be lifted. So that's cool too. Obviously, stress is something that we know impacts our mental health. So engaging in effective stress management is going to boost your resiliency, your ability to adapt through challenging situations. So that's obviously important. And then there's sleep. So sleep is where our minds consolidate memories and new information that we learned. So it helps kind of with that storage process, but it also helps us process things that happen during the day. So when we're sleep deprived, one, it totally impacts our mood because when you're cranky, it's probably after a bad night's sleep, right? Increased irritability. Anyone? Yes. And just knowing that if you can get better sleep, it's going to help your mental health. Sleep deprivation actually can exacerbate or onset certain mental health conditions. So that's something to keep in mind too, is that if you are experiencing chronic sleep deprivation, that ain't no good for your mental health, y'all. So get your sleep. Then we have risky substance use. This is another one I notice that when I'm sad, I tend to overindulge in things like Prosecco and maybe a craft beer or 2 or 3. It's funny because it's not funny. It's science. But it's funny because the more that I drink, the more likely I am to cry. And you know the reason for that? It's because alcohol is a depressant, y'all. Like, literally, it's in the name. It's a depressant, not a stimulant like caffeine. It's a depressant. So, engaging in risky substances is going to make you feel either more depressed, or if you're anxious and you're consuming excessive amounts of caffeine or nicotine or anything like that, it's going to speed up your heart rate, which feels a lot like anxiety. So that also might exacerbate your mental health, or your mental health symptoms, I should say. So there's that one. And then the last one is positive social connections. And when we go through challenging times, if we have a stronger support network, we tend to have higher resiliency because we have those people we can turn to when we're experiencing a challenging time. They can either just let us vent, they can provide us support, maybe advice or suggestions and things like that. So making sure that you have a strong support network and that you're not lonely. And with loneliness, this is one that it's one that I continue to try to work on because I don't know if it's the only child in me, but like, I don't mind being alone. Like, I mean, even when Matt and I are home together, like we tend to kind of, just go on our opposite sides of the house at times. And then, we'll reconnect for, maybe a TV show or just to chat about our day for a little bit. But it's like, even in my friend circles, like I am okay being alone, but I also need to be careful that that doesn't mean that I'm experiencing loneliness and not recognizing it, because loneliness is a pretty significant risk factor to our health. There are some studies that have cited, and I mean, it negatively impact our health to the extent that they say as much as smoking a pack of 15 cigarettes a day, as much as obesity and physical inactivity. It does contribute significantly to our physical health when we're experiencing states of loneliness, isolation, things like that. So recognize those people in your life that you can turn to who can help support you when you're facing the tough stuff. Because, man, life be life, and y'all. We just got to roll with the punches sometimes. But we also need to put it upon ourselves to recognize where we can take action to better support ourselves. And for me personally, I know that I kind of gave myself some grace over the last 2 weeks, because I will also be that person that will like guilt and shame and judge myself to be like, oh my gosh, you lazy piece of shit, like get off the couch. Why are you already on season 6 of Once Upon a Time? that may or may not be accurate. And how long ago did I start it? I'm not going to tell y'all, because those seasons are long, and I've definitely been overindulging, I'll say, but I forgot how good the show is. And anyway, I digress. Make sure that you recognize, one, like, is this what you need right now? Because sometimes you do just need to like chill the fuck out and give yourself that space to just, what do I say? Sit in the suck, but don't get stuck, right? And for me, like I was sitting in it. I was sitting in it for a while, and I finally like came to a point where I was also very exhausted. There was a lot going on. So I think mentally I was drained. Physically, I was drained. Emotionally, I was a shit show. So I think I just needed a little bit of that time and space in my life right now. And like truly today, and even yesterday a little bit, I was like getting to the point of starting to feel like myself again. And I do attribute part of that to taking steps to get back to feeling like myself. So just going for a walk at the track across the street, for example, and prepping myself a breakfast that's packed with berries and getting, some of those nutrients and vitamins and minerals to start my day. And fiber. We love fiber. Fiber is our new favorite F word. So go back and listen to that episode with Nicole if you haven't already. It's a good one. Nicole Hoskins. Anyway, this is the long-winded way of saying that our lifestyle behaviors do impact not only the health of our body, but also the health of our mind. And the more that we can recognize that and bring that into our lives, even in the smallest ways, like I said, I just started making some more of those positive changes. I mean, it's really been over the last week. I just didn't put a lot of pressure on myself. I didn't add extra stress to myself to say like, okay, Melyssa, let's snap out of this. Like, we got to get going. We got lots of shit to do. I gave myself that time and that space and started slowly focusing and asking myself, here's where the empower will come in. Like, here's what you can ask yourself. What is the first smallest step for my well-being that I can take today? And just start there. Like, literally think tiny step. Not a lot. Very small and tiny. Think about that. And then think about, what do I have the energy for right now? Because maybe after you take that first smallest step, you're like, I think I can do a little more today. And just like Annalise shared in the last episode, it's like laundry, right? Some days you're just going to be able to clean the underwear that you'll need for tomorrow, and that's about it. Other days you'll be able to knock out a full load and get it put away. So take that with you and think about what those small steps are, what you have the energy for, and also maybe like what's most important for the day. Like what is going to be a change maker. I was going to say game changer. Let's call it a change maker. What's going to be your change maker for the day out of your to-do list. Like the thing that's going to change the game, help you get back on track. I don't even like saying on track. Help you get back in it. Back in the game. Does anyone remember Legally Blonde the musical? It's so good. That's what that song is from. I'm not going to serenade you with the whole thing, but go look it up. Make that your power song. My power song is actually the one from Legally Blonde, the movie, where she's like in the bunny costume and like getting her new laptop and like ready to get shit done. That's my pump up anthem lately too. So all of that to say, take it slow, take it easy on yourself for a little bit, and just focus on where you can start making those small positive changes that are going to support not only your physical well-being, but your mental health too. And just do it a little bit at a time to help give yourself the building blocks that you need to get unstuck from the suck. Okay. And then I guess for your engage section, I'd love to invite you to join me for the Lifestyle Medicine for Mental Health presentation that I'll be giving. Again, that's going to happen on May 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It is virtual and in person, so would love for you to hop in for that presentation. I will have the link in the show notes, but you can also go to healthylivingdoesn'thavetosuck.com/events. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in and for being here with me today. Happy Lifestyle Medicine Week 2024, and I will catch y'all next time. But until then, keep it real, stay positive, and go be kind to your mind, y'all. I'll catch you next time. I hope you all enjoyed that episode as much as I enjoyed recording it. And don't forget to grab your freebie with the wellness wheel at healthylivingdoesn'thavetosuck.com/wellness so you can get started on your changemaker journey today. As always, thanks so much for listening, changemakers. And if you can please remember to head to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe, rate, and review. It will help this podcast reach other changemakers so they can start listening and tuning in each week. As a quick, friendly reminder, the information in these podcasts are always strictly for educational purposes only. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.